Hi guys! Today I will talk about replicas from the named swords from the TV series Game of Thrones. You might say that the swords are characters themselves in the TV series. They are well known, they have their own background story and they have names. In this review I will take you through the replicas of the great swords with names from the TV series Game of Thrones. There are also other swords that have names in the TV series, but these haven't been made replicas of yet, so therefore I will disregard them from this review. I will be talking a lot about something called Valyrian steel. Now, Valyrian steel is a kind of metal found in the TV series and also in the books. It is exceptionally strong, tremendously light, and it keeps its edge forever without the need for sharpening. It is no longer possible to make Valyrian steel as it requires both magic and dragon fire. So in other words, the few items which have Valyrian steel are extremely sought after and very valuable. Now, Valyrian steel is also the name of the manufacturer of these weapons here in real life. All the swords I'm going to talk about today are from this producer. First out is one of the largest swords, and that is Ice. This is an heirloom of House Stark and it was used both in wartime and for ceremonial occasions. In the TV series, the sword was kept in a scabbard made by a wolf's pelt. Now in the first season, this sword belonged to the Lord of Winterfell, which was Ned Stark. After being accused of treason, Ned Stark was actually beheaded by his own sword by Joffrey at King's Landing. Now the replica sword is 57.5 inches long, that is approximately 147 centimeters. The hilt is made of hardwood with antique brass handle parts. The blade is made of stainless steel and the plaque has a direwolf sigil. The sword was thereafter melted down by Jaime Lannister, and due to its large size he made two swords out of it. One of them he gave to his son Jaime Lannister and the other one he gave to his grandson Joffrey for a wedding gift. Joffrey named his sword the Widow's Wail and he used this sword at the wedding to cut the wedding cake. Now he did this so forcefully that the doves that were hidden inside the cake and were supposed to fly out actually became beheaded. Sadly, this sword has not been made into a replica yet. Now Jaime, who knew where these swords came from, gave his unnamed sword to Brienne of Tarth to aid her in the task of rescuing Sansa Stark. Now he believed it was proper that Sansa was protected by a sword made of her father's sword. Brienne named it Oathkeeper in honor of her oath to Catelyn Stark. Now the Oathkeeper replica is 41.5 inches long, so that's about 105 centimeters. The hilt is bronze-plated cast metal with faux jewels. The plaque has the Tarth sigil, and it is possible to buy a scabbard for the Oathkeeper. Now over to the well-known Valyrian steel sword, which is Jon Snow's sword, and it is called Longclaw. Now this sword belonged to the House of Mormont for 5 centuries. After retiring his lordship, Jeor Mormont became the commander of Night's Watch and passed the sword to his son Jorah. But Jorah had to go into exile after trying to sell some poachers into slavery, and the sword returned to his father Jeor at the Night's Watch. Jeor gave the sword to Jon Snow in thanks for saving his life. Longclaw became the new Valyrian steel sword of House Stark after Ice, which was destroyed by Tywin Lannister. One of the most surprising uses of Longclaw came in season 5 when Jon uses it to defeat the White Walker in a duel using the blade. The Valyrian steel sword does not break after coming into contact with the White Walker's ice blade, revealing that the dragon glass is not the only thing that can kill a White Walker. The replica is 45 inches long, that is about 115 centimeters. It has a genuine leather with antique metal wolf pommel on the hilt. The wooden plaque has the Night Watch's oath on it, and it is possible to buy a scabbard for Longclaw. Arya Stark also has a sword, and this is called Needle. This sword was made by a blacksmith in Winterfell, so it is not a Valyrian steel, and it was given to her by Jon before she left with her father for King's Landing. Jon says it's skinny like her and gives her the advice, stick them with the pointy end. Arya herself gives the sword its name based on that Sansa is better at her needlework. And one of her quotes is, "Sansa can keep her sewing needles, I've got a needle of my own." The sword, as the name implies, is long and thin, and it's like a rapier, and it fits Arya Stark's fighting style. The replica is 30.5 inches long, that is 78 centimeters. It has a slightly curved grip, which is wrapped with leather and brass handle parts. Now the wooden plaque has the direwolf sigil. It is also possible to buy a scabbard for a needle. Now the next sword is Jaime Lannister's sword, as it was when he was Lord Commander of the King's Guard. After Jaime was captured by Catelyn Stark, Brienne was escorting him back to King's Landing. And along the way back to King's Landing, Jaime lost his fighting hand to Roose Bolton's henchmen. Now the replica is 42 inches long, that is 117 centimeters. It's made of stainless steel, and the hilt has 4 ivory inserts and a plaque with the Lannister sigil. Now the Catspaw assassin was paid to kill Bran Stark while he was in a coma. And the way he went about it was to start a fire in another part of the castle to draw everybody out from his room. Now this worked almost to perfection because Catelyn did not leave the room, and when he entered to kill him, they started fighting, and he actually injured her, but Summer, the direwolf of Bran, ended up by killing him and ripping his throat out. The blade was taken to King's Landing by Catelyn, and she discovered there that the blade had belonged to Tyrion Lannister. The replica of the Catspaw blade is about 19.5 inches long, so that's around 50 centimeters. It has a 4 dragon bone grip with 24 karat gold plated metal parts, and the wooden plaque has the Game of Thrones motif. The last weapon I'm going to talk about now is Khal Drogo's arakh. Now the arakh is a standard weapon used by the Dothraki. The curved blade is a crescent moon shaped and has a very sturdy handle. The replica blade is a high carbon steel with an oxide finish. It is 39.5 inches long, so that's approximately 101 centimeters, and the wooden plaque has a Dothraki symbol on it. That was all I had for this time. I really hope you enjoyed our little overview over the replica swords from Game of Thrones. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again later.